And was the whole crowd like,
Oh my! Non-apologetic news, not what you're used to. Non-apologetic news, telling you the truth. Non-apologetic news, saying what they're scared to. Non-apologetic news, non-apologetic news.
hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Non-Apologetic News. Today we have doggies in the news. We have Wrestlemania, and you'll never believe what one Texas man decided to do against his better judgment. All that and more on today's episode of Non-Apologetic News. I want to talk about a heroic woman and her heroic deed. Okay, so we have a woman, her name is Caitlin Meade. Let me paint the scene for you. Last week in St. Paul, Minnesota on I-94, which is apparently a very busy highway, there was a dog running down the highway. Police are trying to stop it. Everyone's trying to stop it. No one can do it except Miss Caitlin Meade. And I think she should be on the front cover of every editorial. I think she should be on the front cover of every editorial in our nation. And here is why. On YouTube, I found this gem. I'm going to skip a little ways in. There's no audio on here anyhow. But check this out. You see the busy highway. Do you see the dog in the bottom corner?
Yeah.
Okay, now it's tucking out of the way as we see police are trying, sort of. And if you notice, every asshole driving around the police, that could very well hit that little dog. Okay, now the dog has crossed the street, probably terrified. Okay, now Porky McPork tries to get him, but too many pork grinds. So that is close but no cigar. Now here's what you need to keep an eye on. Watch the white SUV. Watch at the very front by the hood. Okay, dog's going by. Shaboosh! So this lady, Caitlin, which, by the way, she has the dog. The police are getting out like they're going to beat one of them or both of them. Now, so what she did was she hid in front of her SUV, and when the dog went by, she jumped out, grabbed it, and saved its life because the police weren't doing nothing but taking a break and FaceTiming their mistresses. So, we don't know anything else about this woman except her name is Caitlin Meade. I think she is a gem. Because it's no secret that I love dogs. We do not deserve them. And do you know why God did not give them wings?
Why?
So we would not know they are angels. So,
beautiful.
If you are in the St. Paul area, I advise you find Miss Caitlin Meade. Hit her up on Tinder, Facebook, wherever. That is wifey material. Now, do you have trouble with animals getting out? Because I know you had a cat that was basically like the city's cat at one point.
Yeah, well, now it's more the dogs. Where I'm at now, they got a fenced-in yard, but the small one, he can find the hole, he'll squeeze through it.
Won't we all?
Yeah.
Now, is he gone for days at a time?
There's been a couple times I've had to bail him out of jail.
Thought we'd give him a little healthy, wholesome news, but I'd like to pass it on to whatever debauchery you have ready for us today.
All right. A Texas man has been arrested after police discovered human remains in his home believed to belong to his son who died in 2018.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Police received a call requesting a welfare check. Officers asked if he knew why they were there, and Mr. McMichael advised them that it is because he had a body in his kitchen.
That's a good reason.
He told the officers that it belonged to his son who passed away in May 2018.
Wait, the body was his son or the body belonged to his son?
I think the body
that's my son's property, or it's his son's body.
I think it's the son's body.
Okay.
Officers found the skeletal remains of a male inside the home, and it was determined the body was possibly Jason McMichael.
Well, just for no other reason than that answer he gave police, I'd have to say,
You's a dumb criminal.
You know why we're here? It's like, oh, yeah, I got a rotten corpse sitting at the kitchen table.
So he killed his own son.
Sit down for dinner. It doesn't say whether he's the one that did it or if he just passed away. He's like, you know what? We're not done hanging out.
And when they say abuse of a corpse, is that just an umbrella term just for you're in possession of a corpse?
I think so.
Or was he like beating it with his belt when it went mine,
Finish your dinner.
That is absolutely insane, especially 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, did he have no company?
Apparently, or How do you fucking live with that smell?
Well, I imagine the smell goes away after a couple years or even a year.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like if you ever have like a mouse that dies in your walls or whatever and it smells, but then it goes away. So I imagine he was like a petrified dinosaur fossil at this point.
All right. This fucking Febreze budget is insane.
Yeah. And I wonder if, just for the sake of how long he had him, I wonder if it was an overweight person or a fit person. You know, because like it probably smelled a lot worse than if he was a great big fat dude.
Right.
I mean, like if someone looked at his body and was like,
man, them jokers was big, size of a quarter, doggone.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps up that story. What do you think?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about over the weekend, I went to an auction. It was like a farm and equipment auction. It was like tractors and trailers and such. So I wanted a trailer for my truck, which I wound up getting for $100. Awesome for me. Now, they did have guns that they were auctioning off. So, you know, I jumped right in the middle of that. And I noticed I winded up getting a shotgun. But I noticed everybody was paying like over retail for the majority of these guns. And I thought, well, what the hell's going on? So I started to listen to the talk and people were like, you know, this is the gun show loophole, which basically means a person-to-person sell so you don't have to do a background check. So they're like, we'll pay more for these guns because the government doesn't need to know what gun I have. And if I ever need to get rid of it or do something stupid, I want to have a throwaway. And these people are retarded. And I'll gladly tell you why. See, when you go and you register for this auction, it's not like if I just sold you a gun, like you have to give your ID and then they give you like a number, you know, like a little card for you to place your bids with. So in other words, they keep a complete record of everything that was bought. So in case anyone doesn't know, if you ever get rid of a gun or if the police find a gun or have reason to believe anything about a gun, what they do is they either start with the last known owner or they'll go all the way back to the manufacturer. Well, what distributor did you sell it to? Then they go to distributor. What retailer did you sell it to? Then the retailer, what person? Then they go to him and he's like, well, I sold it to Jimmy. Then they go to Jimmy. Like eventually with these guns, the ATF would wind up at the auction house who is not going to protect you. And they're going to give up your name, address, and everything. So before you think you can just go to an auction and buy a gun and do something like that with it, you need to kind of know the facts. Also, it pissed me off that people are paying over retail because I was trying to get deals and I'm not going to pay more than I can just go get it for, right?
Right.
But I did get a 20 gauge and I have it completely soaked in WD-40 right now. As soon as I make sure that that thing's not going to blow my hands off, it's either from 1938 or 1942. I'm not quite sure of the submodel. It's actually kind of cool. Montgomery Ward used to sell shotguns. And they put their own brand on it, like it says Montgomery Ward on it. But Montgomery Ward didn't make shotguns. Apparently a company called Savage was making all their guns, even though it says a Montgomery Ward Hercules. I believe it's a Savage 930A, something to that effect, which dates back to the late 30s, early 40s. So as soon as I make sure it works, I'm going to go ahead and saw it off. And for anyone who doesn't know, you can saw off any gun as long as it's 18 inches. And also the full gun is at least 26 inches. That's important. It has to be 26 inches, period. Barrel at least 18. So little pro tip, always go 18 1/4. That way they can't pull out any janky tape measure. You don't get hit with a technicality. But then I'll have a sawed off in my bedroom. And then I'll have a sawed off at the other end of the house hanging up as well. Because, I mean, that'll be my go-to if someone tries to come through the door. They call it a sawed off because it's sawed off. I call it a sawed off because I will saw your ass off with that thing, right? But yeah, and you know, so we talked about the auction deals, but there are the real handshake deals where there is no record. And I've been pretty open about how I'm not a fan of that. Because if I sell him a gun, you know, hand-to-hand deal, and the gun, let's say I had murdered someone with it, and then he winds up getting caught with the gun, he now has to prove that he didn't have it when that murder was committed, or he's going to be falsely tried for a murder. And you would think, well, I'll just tell him I bought it from Jimmy on Facebook. That doesn't work. So I'm not saying never do handshake deals. I'm saying never do handshake deals without a bill of sale. I'll even have someone pull out their ID because I'm not taking your murder weapon off of you and taking the rap for your crime. And I know it's great. We want to not let the government know about our guns, but you don't have to turn the bill of sale in. Keep it in your records. You know, keep a detailed explanation on it and keep it forever in your safe. Don't turn it in. You don't have to. And then if something comes up, you show that to the ATF so you don't spend the rest of your life in the pen. So basically, I think I've had a good enough of a rant on that, but be sure to tune in next week where I probably rant some more about this because I'll be thinking about it as I clean my Montgomery Ward 20 gauge single shot breakover shotgun. Back to you, buddy.
All right. WrestleMania. Probably one of the better ones in a while. I never bothered to watch it. Well, you should have. It had Stone Cold return. You know, thought he was just going to do a small segment, beat some dude down and leave. Nope, he had a full match. And not only a full match, a no-holds-barred match. Yeah.
Actually means nothing on network television, but still. Did you see a stunner?
Several.
And was the whole crowd like, oh my!
Yes, they were. I mean, they
Jerry
got out
the
to the
King
crowd.
Still around? Did he pass?
Yeah, he's still around.
He's still out there?
Yeah.
Still with the one eye and the...
No, that's JR.
Oh, well, who's this guy?
That sounds like Michael Cole.
Oh, that's a dude from when I was watching, like Raw days. Who cares? On with your story. So Stone Cold showed up. He stunned who and how many times?
Kevin Owens and 2 or 3. And then, of course, had a big old celebration with some beer. A lot of beer. I'm pretty sure throughout the match, he probably drank an 18-pack.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but was he actually drinking or was it just...
Yeah, well, yeah, it's his Stone Cold drinking. But, yeah, I mean, he'd beat him down for a second. He's like, you know what? I'm thirsty. Let me get a cold one.
Why did it take 3 stunners?
Well, he beat him with the first one. He just wasn't done. And he's like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to give you another.
So this was the guy who was talking shit on text that she said.
Yeah. And then after the celebration, he called one of the guys from commentary to come in and have a beer and gave him a stunner, too.
Oh, because he was talking some smack as well?
Nope. He just likes stunning people.
And was this the main event or what?
Yes, of Saturday night. Which that was probably the best of the Saturday night card. We did see both women's championships defended. Bianca Belair won hers.
What was that again?
Bianca Belair won the title from Becky Lynch. Charlotte Flair kept her title, defended it against Ronda Rousey.
Any relation to Rick?
Yes, it's his daughter.
Is it really his daughter, or is it like we say it's his daughter?
No, it's his daughter.
Did she have her own like variation, like pew or something?
She hits it with the woo, and her entrance music is Ric Flair's music, but with a beat behind it or something. I don't know, revamped.
And Ronda Rousey was there.
Yep. And yes, but night 2. This was probably one of the best matches on the card. Not many people expected it to be, but Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. And of course, Knoxville had most of the Jackass crew sitting ringside.
Steve-O was there?
No Steve-O, but Wee Man was hiding underneath the ring. And
well, yeah, he'd fit, right?
Of course, Chris
Probably
Botanius.
had a couch underneath there, and
Wee Man got involved. Well, they all did. Chris Botanius, hit him with the party boy dance or whatnot. But Wee Man actually, Johnny Knoxville's opponent, Wee Man grabbed him and picked him up, power slam like Hogan did the Andre back at WrestleMania 3.
Wee Man was able to hold the...
Yeah, he picked him up and fucking scoot slaying him. And they had a lot of jackass antics. They had the big fucking hand on standby that they hit dude with.
Was Preston there with him?
No.
It
was let's see, Chris Botanius, Wee Man, a couple of the new guys. I don't know if you watched the new movie yet.
I just watched it last week.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. That Jasper, he's the Dark Shark, the convict.
He was all right. I thought Jasper, what was the point of him being there? He didn't do anything cool. He didn't say anything funny. I don't know. I didn't get it. And that's the same with what's his name? Poopies?
Poopies, yeah.
Poopies is the most brain dead person I've ever talked to. He has to be so happy in life. But yeah, I thought the guy's dad was funny with the tarantula and stuff like that. I really didn't think they did that craziest stuff though. I did the beginning where the green monsters attack in the building and it winds up being that dude's dick. I thought that was a good use of dick. I thought that was good. I rewound that. I was like, hold up, wait a minute.
Knoxville ended up winning the match, pulled out a giant mousetrap from underneath the ring after he threw Sami Zayn off the turnbuckle to the outside the ring through a table that had a bunch of little mousetraps glued to it. Yeah. Good match. And after that, saw was it Pac McFree commentator. He had a match against Austin Theory, which is Vince McMahon's next protege. Well, Austin Theory lost, and McMahon's out ringside. McMahon wasn't happy, so he challenges the dude to a match. And, of course, he's the fucking owner, so he wins.
You got to get paid, so.
So McMahon's out there fucking strutting, doing his thing. And then you hear that fucking glass shatter again. And here comes Stone Cold. And we got to see Stone Cold hit one more stunner on McMahon.
Damn, he's still taking stunners.
Yeah, it wasn't the best stunner.
He's been taking stunners for like 3 decades now. I remember when he got all jacked and he was actually like trying to be a real wrestler.
Kinda, you can tell he's getting old and kind of sad, but he's still he took his shirt off. He's still hitting the bench.
Well, all that sounds super exciting, and I advise anyone to check it out on the replay on Paramount. Peacock Plus. Wait.
That's just Peacock.
Just the cock. All right. And we will be right back next Wednesday. As always, like, subscribe, figure it out. We will be right here in these same 2 seats next Wednesday. I am Travesty. Next to me is the Body Bag. And we wish everyone listening a good night. And please, whatever you do, do not watch the news.
Non-apologetic news. Non-apologetic news.